In fact, do me a favor, turn to the person sitting next to you and say, glad you're here.
Glad you're here.
Turn to the other person and say, glad you're here. By show of hands, who's glad that they're here? Okay, I want to make sure I'm in the right room. How many of you like to be successful? How many of you want to be happy? All right, and isn't it amazing the energy already in the room? Do you guys already feel the energy in the room? Well, that's why I love belonging to this group right here. How many of you are happy? If you're happy, let me show it. Thank you very much. My name is Maurice Domina, and I want to welcome you to Super Saturday here with Casey's team. And I couldn't think of a better place to be. Yes, I know with the time that's available to us in the next, what is it? This is a 12-hour program? 14-hour program. Over the next 14 hours, you're going to learn, over the next few hours, we're going to have some fun. We're going to look at some success principles and how we could take our team to the next level. How many of you are interested in that? All right, fantastic. Let's take care of a little housekeeping so Casey can concentrate on the most important things. Do me a favor, take out your cell phones, those devices, to communicate with the rest of the world, and turn them on. Yes, turn them on, but do me a favor, turn off the volume, lower the volume, put it to silent or what have you. And I know Casey, been working with him for almost 4 years now, his business partner. He loves to be, he loves to have his picture taken. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Definitely. Facebook, post, tweet, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumble, whatever those kids are doing. Do as much as possible. Why? Because let the world know what you're interested in. I believe this, that each and every one of us are contagious. Would you agree? What do I mean by being contagious? If we're excited, they're excited. And what that means, it increases our opportunity. Wouldn't you agree? And how many of you would like to have more and more opportunities? Alrighty, so I want you to tell the world how excited you are to be here. So guess what? We double the size of the room, and Michael kicks us out. That's what I'm hoping for. And before I go anywhere, I definitely want to say thank you to our host, Michael Caruana. Thank you so much. Just give him a round of applause. Fantastic team leader. I'm sure you'll be hearing about him a little bit later on, if not hearing from him. So your cell phones, leave them out. Because we're actually going to be doing an exercise a little bit later on that will increase it. In fact, I believe it's an exercise that Jordan Adler uses. So leave out your cell phones. Breaks, we're going to have breaks throughout the day, so trust me, you're going to have plenty of breaks to check your businesses and do all that sort of stuff. Speaking about breaks, there's an interesting thing about the bathrooms here. Everybody know where the bathrooms are? They're downstairs, there's 2 bathrooms. Now they're self-locking. Now I know when I was raised, after you use the bathroom, when you leave the bathroom, what do? You close the door behind you, not to be offensive to the next person. Well, you just offended the next person because you've actually locked them out. So do me a favor, by all means use the bathrooms, by all means use the bathrooms, but do me a favor, when you exit, do not shut the door all the way, all right? Leave them ajar so that the next person can use it because they automatically lock. So we did cell phones, yes? We did breaks, yes? And we did the restrooms. You know what that means? We got the rest of the day to spend on success. And I can't think of a better person to do that than my good friend, and I'm going to start with that. Usually people start with the business side of things, but he's a good friend. Not only is he a good friend, that he comes to my aid and is interested, he's genuinely interested in my success. How many of you feel that from Casey, that he's genuinely interested in your success? Definitely. And,
one person claps. Thank you guys. That's awesome. Thank goodness this is being recorded for Cody. I love it. You guys are just rocking.
So as I mentioned earlier, I've been working with Casey now definitely my business partner. Him and I have multiple meetups. If you haven't joined us at one of our meetups, either Double Your Check Club or as well as the LA Business Marketing Bootcamp, definitely come join us on a Wednesday or Thursday evening. Guess where? Right here. Again, because we're interested in success. Casey's interested in your success. He has been with the Send Out card since 2006. And if I may say, he may not want me to say this to you, but I think it's actually a little bit of a disservice because he comes up here and he shows you all the success and all that, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's so easy for him. Well, we didn't see him in 2006 and 7 and 8 and how much time he's invested into Send Out cards to put him where he is right now, right? So that's why we're here, because we're going to take a dip into his experience. How did he get to this position? How did he get to fill a room like this that, guess what, it's easy for you to fill? You know, I was just listening to Jim Rohn on the way here. Everybody familiar with Jim Rohn? And he says one thing, sometimes life is easy. It comes down to the basics, which we're going to talk about today. And the best thing about basics is that they're easy to do. The worst thing about basics is that they're easy not to do. So today, Casey and his team is going to be sharing a lot of information with you today. This is what I'd like you to do. I would like you to put a little note, a little asterisk, highlight it, which ones resonated with you. I want you to start formulating your basics. In fact, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on when it comes to templates. But I want you to be taking notes, whether digitally or handwritten, or not up here, but down here somewhere, because I know there's going to be a lot of information to share. And I know first we're going to start with an opportunity meeting, then move into an instructional meeting, and I hope each and every one of you stay throughout, because I know this, whether you're with send-out cards or not, you will take something away to help you with your success and with your happiness. Now, having said that, let me introduce you to our host. As I said, he's been with send-out cards for since 2006. He's managed amusement parks. He's been an executive producer on Academy Award-winning films. I mean, his credentials go on and on and on with multiple meetups, and as well as what he's doing right now with his Platinum Group and with his organizations. So right now, I want you to give a nice, warm welcome, a lot of applause for our host, Casey Everhart.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up. Maurice joined our Send Out Cards organization about 2 days ago. Maurice and I have spoke and traveled the world together and spoke on many, many stages together. It's kind of funny because I was sitting up here and I was thinking, okay, I need to give him the list of stuff he needs to say while he's up here. And then he got up here, and to show you what a professional is and how well we know each other, he covered exactly what I was going to ask him to cover. So, a couple of things before we get started, just logistical speaking, is like Maurice said, phones on. You're going to be using your phones throughout the day. We're going to do an exercise together using our phones. Don't anybody get scared. But we're really going to use our phones today. And so I just encourage you today that when you're talking with each other and you're talking at breaks and so on and so forth, that you take tons of pictures, post them on social media. I can tell you that there are at least 3 other Super Saturday meetings going on throughout the country. And I will be damned if we don't have more pictures of our event than they do. Fair enough? Okay, so it needs to be like, Cody needs to be texting me at the end of this going, what in the heck is going on over there in Los Angeles? So please take as many pictures of your fellow entrepreneurs, so on and so forth, okay? You can tell just by kind of what's going on around us that we're very big into digital asset creation. And we'll talk a little bit about that throughout the day. But when you go out into the world, whatever business you're in, whether it's send out cards or not, every time you snap a picture, you do a blog post, you create something that lasts forever online, it has the ability to work for you. And send out cards, as well as most businesses are a game of leverage. So anytime we can leverage ourselves and leverage our tools, we want to be able to do that. Fair enough?
Fair.
Okay. Secondly, I am going to do a ton of presenting this afternoon. I have a notebook over there filled with stuff that we're going to go through. So it is important for me to make you understand that this event is for us. This is our event. You are a part of it. This is our first event back after many, many years of not doing events. And I almost have a little tear in my eye because I thought, okay, so it's going to be Maurice and I and Dean, Bruce, Kathy, and Mike and Ryan, and that was it. And instead, everybody else showed up to the party, which is awesome, right? So Justin drove down from Napa. We have people who came from San Diego. There's some people from San Diego. Amy came from San Diego. Robert came from San Diego. Cindy drove down from Reno to be with us. Anybody from Fresno? I know Sarah was going to come down, but she got sick. Okay, cool. We have Orange County in the house. We have Las Vegas in the house. So we have some really great entrepreneurs in the room. So we're going to do a business presentation in a few minutes. For those of you that aren't in Send Out Cards, I'll acknowledge you in a second. Then we'll take a break. We'll take about a 15 or so minute break. That way, if a guest has questions, they can get those questions answered, so on and so forth. For you guests, if you'd like to stay afterwards, you are more than welcome. I promise you, everything that we're going to talk about today, for the most part, almost 99% of it, will be applicable to any business that you're in. And so that's why Maurice said, if you're welcome to stay, you'll get something out of it, I promise. We're going to do lunch together today. Aren't you guys excited? Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna order pizzas. I know that's really exciting and everybody's.
I love it.
Frankly, we're gonna order pizza because I want pizza. And since
I want
in my
pizza.
party,
I want pizza.
there will not be vegan. We took care of you vegans with the donuts. Yeah, they bought vegan pizza. Of course they did. Of course they did. So I want to I want to introduce myself just for a couple of minutes and tell my send out card story. I got a call in 2006. In March of 2006, I owned an equipment rental company in film and television equipment. I retired out of the movie business. Won an Oscar for a movie called Being John Malkovich back in the 90s. Anybody see it?
Yes.
Stoners. We're all stoners. Or maybe that was just our crew. Right? But I retired from the film business. I owned an equipment rental company where we rented a bunch of film equipment back to all my crazy friends that were still in production. And one day in March, I got a phone call. And it was from a buddy of mine. I knew him from a 12-step meeting. I was a member of Al-Anon. If you guys don't know what Al-Anon is, it's for friends and families of alcoholics and addicts. So yes, I can still have a cocktail. And I got a call from him, and he said, "Hey, Case," he goes, "I know that you have a business. Do you stay in touch with your customers?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Well, it's a pain." I said, "These people are all different than everybody else's customers because they're all producers, they're all freelance, meaning they don't stay in an area one way or the other." And he said, "Well, I'm going to stop you right there. Would it help if you stayed in front of your customers?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. But it's expensive, it's inconvenient, I'm not gonna be able to, I don't know what you're even talking about." And in those days, it was right as Al Gore had just invented the internet. And, right? And the way we marketed that business was essentially a yellow page ad, but in a book for just the film and television industry. Okay, it was called the LA 411, and I spent $80,000 a year for a 2-page ad in that magazine. And that was our marketing for the year. So Peter said, "Hey, would you have any interest in sending out thank you cards to your customers?" And I said, "Interest, yes. Reality, no." Right? And then I said, what I'm sure for him was the magic sentence. He said, "Well, I have a system that might be able to help you out." And I said, "Peter, unless this thing that you're talking about, I have to sit in my office chair and I can hit a button and they will print it, they will put it in an envelope, they will stamp the thing, they will address it, and they will take it to the post office. I have no interest in what's coming out of your mouth. Unless it matches all of those requirements, the conversation is done." And he said, "Then I'm going to continue." And I said, "One moment, please." And I put him on hold, and I remember walking over, grabbing my wallet, took my credit card out, and I got on the phone, and I said, "How much is it?" And he said, "Well, I want to get you behind a computer, and I want you to send out a card." And I said, "I don't want to send out a card. I want the system. I'm not going to even be the one that sends out the card, so how much is it?" He says, "Well, we have 3 packages." Now, this is back in 2006, so if you're brand new, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you're older in send-out cards, then this will make sense. But at the time, we had 3 packages. We had a retail package, a wholesale package, and an entrepreneur package. And I said, "Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I'll get the entrepreneur package." I said, "How much is it?" And he says, $750. I'm like, "Done. Just paid it. I didn't even think about it." He signed me up in send-out cards. So in send-out cards, I started sending out cards to all our customers, right? And these are film producers. So my way of getting their home address was I would say, "Hey, we like to send birthday cards. Where should we send your birthday card?" And they would all give us their home address. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I hit pay dirt." Right? Because I was using Send Out Cards Contact Manager system to also in the notes section, in the Contact Manager section, you can write notes on these people. So I wrote what movies they were in, what kind of hookers they liked, what kind of drugs they were into. It's film and television. So, and we would send out thank you cards, but it had our logo all over these cards, right? It was the quintessential. I was a marketing guy, so we had our logo on it. We had our phone number in there, our email address in there. We had a map to the location. I mean, I had everything in these stupid cards except the GPS coordinates for our location, right? Everything. And you know what happened? No. Exactly. Nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing happened because we were simply using thank you cards to try to drive home a marketing message to our customers. So about that time, Send Out Cards sent me an email and said, "Hey, we're having a convention in Salt Lake City." And I said, "A convention for what?" Like, I didn't get any of this, right? Go up to convention, and I'm in a room, and I went up there just to find other people using this thing in their business and figuring out how to use it in that particular business, right? And at the time, we were getting no success. So I was really quite frustrated, and I thought, this is the dumbest thing I've ever purchased. I'm just saying, that's what happened. So I went up to the Salt Lake City convention for send-out cards, and I just thought, well, this is just going to be a cult of crazy business owners trying to figure out how to use this thing for marketing. And I sat in a room, and Cody Bateman, the founder and CEO of Send Out Cards, happened to be doing a workshop with Jordan Adler, who happens to be now one of my closest friends, but also our #1 income earner in Send Out Cards, one of the world's leading network marketers on the planet. And we were sitting in there, and Cody Bateman said a phrase, and at the time, I remember it very clearly. It happened because he said it very nonchalantly. He was just like, well, you know, appreciation will win out over self-promotion every single time. And I don't know why, you guys, but for me, that was the moment. That was the moment that the light bulb clicked for me, and I just thought, you know what? This is not about sending out marketing messages. What this really is about appreciating another human being who happens to be paying me a lot of money to rent my traffic cones. Right? Do you guys get that distinction? It's really about reaching out in kindness to our customers and our clients. And so I walked out of that, I called my staff, and I said, nobody sends out another thank you card until I get back. They were like, oh my gosh, what hocus pocus is going on up there in Salt Lake City? I come down. To make a long story short, we started sending out only thank you cards, and the way we did it was we had 3 people that we usually bid a job with. We had a production coordinator, a production manager, and a producer. So our strategy was very simple. We would send a card, once we did a bid, we would send a card to the coordinator at their office that says, you know, thank you, Paula, so much for being super smart. We probably won't get the job, but we wanted to just say thank you for letting us bid on it. Here's our phone number in case you need anything 24 hours a day. We're here to help you. We were the highest price in town, so we only got about 10% of the bids. I wanted to go the Nordstrom route rather than the Walmart. Right? Then we would send a card to the production manager that would say, hey, Kathy, thank you so much for hiring Paula. It's very rare that we find somebody so smart as her as that in the production coordinator field, but we probably didn't get the job, but we wanted to say thank you so much for allowing us to be a little part of your show. If there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to reach out. And then we would send a 3rd card, but this time the card was going to Robert, the producer of the show, and this had brownies. And it went to the office and it said, Robert, thank you so much for hiring Kathy and Paula. They were amazing people, very rare in our industry. But to have 2 smart people, we probably didn't get the job, but we wanted to give you a congratulations little brownie gift for you and your office group, because I know how hard you guys are working with little effort, or with mass effort. And then I would stop. You guys, we started making so much money, our heads were rolling. Because the producer would walk out and go, why are we not using Atomic? Well, they're too expensive. Why are we not using Atomic? Because they're too expensive. And then we would all get the job. They're like, if they're following up and staying in front of us and are this on top of it, and they didn't get the job, imagine the service we're going to get when we do give them the job. And that was a big lesson for me. So then I was out talking to my insurance agent, and on my insurance agent, I go, and her name was Deb. I was like, Deb, I think I hit pay dirt with this thing. Like, I'm a marketer, right? So I'm like, you don't understand. I think I just hit the holy grail of marketing. Right? So I'm telling her my experience or whatever. She's like, oh, that's really cool. What's the name of the company? So she wrote down, send out cards or whatever. I'm like, cool. Go away, I don't think anything of it, and about a week later, I get a check in the mail. And I freak out. I freak out, you guys. So I called corporate. And I said, I think there's a mistake. I might have done something wrong. And they're like, okay, what did you do wrong? I'm like, well, you guys just sent me a check. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say something to somebody, or maybe I didn't use this properly. But you guys just sent me a check, and I don't know if you're refunding me and you're canceling out my account, or what the deal is. And the poor girl on the phone, she's like, what are you talking about? And I said, you just sent me a check. And she's like, yeah? And I said, but I didn't do anything. Like, what did I do? She's like, well, do you know Deb? And I said, of course I know Deb. She's my State Farm insurance agent. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. State Farm insurance agent. And she said, well, do you know Deb? And I said, of course. She goes, well, she signed up. And I said, signed up for what? She said, signed up to use send-out cards. And I said, well, yay for you guys. So what? She says, well, that's why we sent you a check. And I went, whoa, what? And she said, well, you get paid by showing send-out cards to people. And I said, what? I said, this is absolutely true story. I said, you are meaning to tell me that I get paid if I share somebody with send-out cards and they sign up? And the poor girl on the phone doesn't know what is going on. In my brain, I'm like, A, why did I not get told this? B, why am I just hearing about this for the first time? And 3, now I'm more irritated with myself not knowing there was opportunity attached. So I literally said to her, is anybody making any money in this? She says, well, yeah, we have our number one guy is a guy by this name of Jordan Adler. I said, how do I get him on the phone? She says, well, you know, he's in the field, and she starts using all these terms and lingo. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Just get me Jordan Adler on the phone. So I called Peter, and I said, Peter, you need to schedule a call with Jordan and I. Jordan and I and Peter get on the phone, and to this day, we were just on a cruise, and Jordan was just telling the story again. That phone call was the last time Jordan's ever explained the compensation plan to a brand new person, because I broke that comp plan down, and I had his head spinning with like, what is going on? And my brain works in numbers, so when I hung up the phone, that's when I decided to go to work and start building a business. And since then, we've built a business. We've got over 1,000 people on the team. Our team is cranking, and we've just had an unbelievable time. So from a business perspective for you guests, being able to reach out and use the tool of send out cards to your clients and prospects is huge. Okay? So before we start and I'm going to have Dean come up and talk a little bit about the business, I want to recognize two groups of people before we get started. So, first, do not clap when these folks stand up yet, okay? So if you have been, or a family member of yours has been, or you are one of our servicemen or women in the military, would you guys stand up, please? So let me just talk to you guys for a second. Make sure I can see all of you. I want to just say, on behalf of entrepreneurs and all of us in the country, I want to say a big thank you, because without your sacrifice for you and your family, none of us would be here. And I just think it's really important to acknowledge you guys and the sacrifices that you've put up with and have done, sometimes probably against your own moral compass, sometimes probably in favor of your own moral compass. But at the end of the day, what you do allows the rest of us to be here. So now you guys give a huge Robert actually just retired from the military, what, like 3 weeks ago or a month ago, yeah? How long ago was it?
It's been 4 years now.
Oh, I totally have you mixed up with Carol Shockley's husband, that's why. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she just did. Okay. Second group. If you look down on your name tag and your name tag is blue, if your name tag is blue, we'd love to have you stand up. David, Carolyn, stand up. Awesome. Okay. For you guys that are standing, you are our guests today, right? We see how sneaky we did that. Send out cards red, got name tags that are red. You guys got blue. So we can just make sure that by the end of the day today, any questions you have, anything you want to talk about, you have a whole room of people that are crazy enough to be here on a Saturday morning along with you. We would love to get all your questions answered. Just reach out to anybody wearing a red name tag, and they'll give you their full, honest experience. I'm around, Mike's around, Ryan in the back. This is Ryan back here. Amy's here. There's lots of us in the room that can be able to answer your question. You guys will hear from several different people with several different experiences today. And don't hesitate to reach out and talk to any one of us. Our goal here today is to make you feel totally welcome, because you are the lifeblood of this organization. So thank you guys very much for being here. So the way this morning's going to work is I'm going to have my good buddy Dean come up, and he's going to run through the Send Out Cards business presentation. And I have to tell you an interesting story about Dean. So I have been, like I said, I've been with Send Out Cards for many, many years. I have seen business presentations done by hundreds and hundreds of people at this time. I've sat through some of the worst business presentations on the planet, and I've sat through some of the best business presentations on the planet, and everywhere in between. And what I realized is that the content is always the same. But it really comes to life when you have a presenter that is really into it and really gets it, right? You guys see that from a speaker. Like, I'm guessing that you can probably look at me and go, look, you brought out a new pair of shoes today, right? Did I show you guys my socks?
No.
Now, unfortunately, right now what's happening is all the guests in the room, we're just like, I'm going to throw a hip out. What's happening right now, where all the guests are like, okay, what is happening right now? I like to wear cool, funky shoes, so it's a brand new pair. So, totally off. Oh, business presentation. When people are really into it, you can feel their energy and you get really excited, right? And so I was asked with Vice President of Send Out Cards, Vanessa Hunter. Some of you know her, some of you don't. She's been a good friend of mine for many, many years, long before Send Out Cards. And she called me and said, hey, they're doing a Super Saturday down in Orange County. Will you meet me in Orange County and help me present? And I said, of course, sure. So I go down to Orange County, and Dean, our presenter, was the one that did the business presentation. And I sat in the back, and Vanessa, I wish that there's too much texting to go back, but I remember sitting right next to Vanessa, and she and I were texting each other the whole time. We were literally like this close to each other texting because we didn't want to be rude. We were trying to pretend like we were being social media guys, right? And what we were really doing, we were texting about how amazing Dean was doing from a presentation point of view, and how just he really encapsulated everything that we talk about in Send Out Cards. And so I asked Dean if he would come up and honor us with doing the business presentation for our guest today. And I want you to listen to how he presents, because one of the things that's so important is understanding how simple this business really can be if you choose to make it simple. Some of us like to make it hard and complicated, and that's okay too. There's room at the table for everybody. But Dean is an amazing business presenter. I'll let him tell you his story, and you guys are going to get a blast out of him. And so when he's done, I'll come back up. We'll have a couple of people give you some testimonials, and we'll take a break. Capiche?
Capiche.
Okay. With that, you guys, please welcome all the way from Orange County, California, one of the biggest bigwigs in the universe. Give it up for Dean!
I was in the back wondering, like, well, who the hell's this guy that's going to come up here? Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Dean Gialamas. Don't worry about the last name. It's Greek to you. That's correct. It's Greek. What I want to do is kind of just go over a little bit of the business presentation with you. My style is such that if you've got questions, feel free to interrupt, but I'm just going to kind of go into it. What I want to tell you about first, though, is a little bit about my story and my background and why I'm involved in Send Out Cards. I got involved because of actually receiving a card from someone. Now, I'm normally a card sender. So much so that back in 2000, I actually bought a wide format printer. I would order special paper. I would print my own cards with people's pictures to be able to put in there. For those of you who are in Send Out Cards, you're thinking like, wow, he was kind of already onto it, but never really finished the plan and the model, right? So when I got this card in the mail, I was thinking, I gotta have this. So I asked my wife, Carolyn, who is the primary person in this business, by the way, to look in to see whether or not we can use this as a service. And it's because of my background. I actually am a government employee. I work full-time. I actually work for a law enforcement agency. I'm not an officer, but I'm actually a scientist. So I work in forensics. So my main occupation is crime scene investigation, so the real CSI. Right? I've done it all, seen it all. I've seen stuff you don't want to see. But what I would do is I would use cards as a way of keeping in touch with my employees. I have about 300 employees that work for me. And what I would do was if somebody got injured on the job, or somebody had a birth in their family, or someone was going through a time of grieving because of a death in the family, I always wanted to send them a card. And what I found was that, you know, I'd ask my wife, hey, if you're going to be out running errands, could you pick up a few cards for me today? And the few cards turned into a dozen or so cards. And then all of a sudden, when you start paying those prices, right, a dozen cards every month gets to be kind of pricey. So I thought, well, if there's an easier way of doing this, I didn't really care if it was cheaper or not. I just wanted easier. I just wanted to do it from my computer. So she went and met up with who's now one of our upline individuals, because she knew this person from a networking group. My wife owns 2 financial-based businesses that she runs at home. She went to go sign up. So I asked her if she had met with the person. She said, yeah, I met with them. And she says, I didn't sign up. And I'm like, well, why? She said, I actually signed up as a distributor. And I said, well, what does that mean? She says, I started a new business. And I was like, what? You've already got 2 home-based businesses. You're starting a 3rd business now? She said, Dean, I saw it, and he didn't even present the business to me, but when I saw the theory behind this, I asked, is there a business side to this? And he said, yes. So she said, I just joined. Well, I'll tell you, 2 years later, my wife has closed one of her financial businesses, and the 2nd business is actually making less money, even though that's her full-time consulting job, than we are in Send Out Cards now. Now, I'm not trying to advertise this as a get-rich-quick scheme, because that's not what I'm here to say. But what I am here to tell you is that real people, everyday people like me, right? I'm just a government employee, can make a successful business out of this. And that's really what I want to share with you, was the opportunity that exists within the Send Out Cards company. So, a little bit about who we are. I want you to do me a favor. So this is where I'm going to ask if you just put your pens, pencils, and phones down. I would like all of you to close your eyes for just a moment. Okay? You just close your eyes. If you had financial independence, and you or your significant other didn't have to work, I want you to think how that would change your life. Now, I want you to picture one thing that comes to mind that's more important to you, that would mean the most to you if you had that financial independence. Okay, you can open your eyes now. If I can show you a way to get paid for being nice to people that would bring that thought into reality, would you be interested? Let me go back again, because apparently you all didn't go to rehearsal this morning. Let me ask the question one more time. And let's try this one more time. Okay, I asked you the question, you have the thought in your mind, right? Now you can open your eyes. Well, let me see here, technical difficulty. If I can show you a way to get paid for being nice to people, and you can turn that thought into reality, would you be interested?
Yes.
Thank you. Let me show you. Well, I don't have to tell you, right, that we live in a fast-paced, sometimes negative world, right? If you want confirmation of that, just turn on the evening news. I guarantee you, you're going to see all you need. Or show up to work with me. You'll see it, I promise. But Send Out Cards is really a tool of business that's changing all that. It's the idea of creating the kindness revolution. And Send Out Cards got started in 2003 by this gentleman here on your left, Cody Bateman. The company is headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're a member of the Direct Sales Association. And the company got started because of something that Cody had called a prompting. Does everybody know what a prompting is? If you had one of those, that's kind of like that gut feeling where I need to do something, but oftentimes we find reasons why we don't. Well, Cody had a significant event in his life where he was moving away from the area. He had a prompting, right, this little gut feeling to stop, to say goodbye to his brother, literally waved goodbye as he drove the car with his family and all of his personal belongings with him away, and never did. And unfortunately, a couple months later, his brother Chris died in a tragic construction accident. So he never got the opportunity to say goodbye to his brother. And that created now this drive for Cody to do two things. Okay? One was to create a business where people could never, or should never, have to pass up on a prompting opportunity. And two, he wanted to provide a business that could allow other people to have a vehicle to get them to financial independence. Okay? And that's what Send Out Cards is and has been developed. Send Out Cards is changing the way we send greeting cards and gifts across the world. Not just the United States, but across the world. And it's because we're going from a click and order philosophy away from the brick and mortar philosophy. It's what Amazon did for books, it's what Netflix has done for movies, and it's what iTunes has done for music. Let me ask you this, how many of you enjoy receiving cards and gifts? Feels great, doesn't it? How many of you like to send cards and gifts? I know I do. And how many of you, when given a choice, isn't it better to give than receive?
Absolutely.
There's a tremendous amount of energy that's involved in giving, okay? And what we find is, studies have shown that the average person sends about 10 cards per year. But there's actually a need to send about 70. So the question then becomes, why are people failing to do this? When there's all these opportunities for birthdays and special events and other things, well, oftentimes it's inconvenient. Sometimes we just plain forget. And sometimes the biggest stumbling block is it costs too much. Anybody go to one of those brick and mortar stores to buy a card? Yeah, how much are they charging for those cards nowadays?
$3 to $6.
$5-6 for a card. And those aren't the ones that even play music, right? That's just a basic card. Or you go to the greeting card store and you find a wonderful card, you open it up and it's like, well, that's not really what I wanted it to say. It looked great from the outside, but that isn't the sentiment that I really wanted it to have. So what Send Out Cards does is it's revolutionized the way we send greeting cards and gifts. We're a very simple system. We work on a point system. You use points to purchase cards and gifts. Our system, when you log in, will remind you of all the different special occasions that you have. When you click on one of those occasions, or when you're just shopping for a card, much like you would do in a brick and mortar store, you can look at various different categories. We have about 17 or 18,000 different cataloged cards that are already in our system. And on top of it, if those aren't good enough, you can create your own. You can upload your own photo, you can add your own handwriting, even add your own signature to customize this card and sending it out to somebody who is special to you in your life. So at Send Out Cards, when you log on to our system and use it, we will print that card, we will stuff it into an envelope, we're going to seal it, address it, stamp it, and deliver it to the post office, and that all happens within 24 hours of you clicking that send button. So at Send Out Cards, we make it convenient, we never let you forget, and we save you a ton of money. Why? Because right now an average card is about 93 cents. 93 cents plus postage to send a card. You can't even go to the dollar store with your own photo and purchase that, right? And now with Sincere, which is Send Out Cards' social media app, you're able to look up a variety of different cards. There's about 40,000 cards that people from the Sincere community have uploaded. And using this, much like other types of social media, you can share it, tag it, like it, pin it, and post it. But with Sincere, there's two things you can do here that you can't do on any other social media site. Number one, you can send it right from your phone or mobile app. Or two, you get paid for it. Because when you share things on Sincere out to social media and people utilize that, you get compensated for that activity. You remember that thought you had about financial independence? I want to tell you a little bit how that's really worked for us, how it's changed my life for my family with my wife and I and our two boys. Okay? We feel that this is the perfect business. Why? Well, number one, there's no inventory. There's no deliveries. There's no invoicing. There's no chasing people down for checks and money. There's very little risk involved. There's no employees, and if there's no employees, that means there's no employers, which means that as a true entrepreneur, you get to be your own boss. You get to set your own schedule. You get to set your own pace. I don't know about many of you, but many of you who work a salaried position can put in more time and effort into a job, and what do you get out of it? How much more compensated do you get at a salary level? I get zero, okay? Zip, nada. I don't even get a pat on the back. But when you're an entrepreneur and you put more effort into it, what do you get out of that? Your extra time pays off in some way, okay? And that's the difference of a business like this that we offer in Send Out Cards. Well, to become a marketing distributor, it's very simple within Send Out Cards. For a one-time fee of $395, you can become a marketing distributor within Send Out Cards. For that $395, you're going to get the social media platform, you're going to get the card sending platform, you're going to get a contact manager for free, you're going to be able to use the mobile apps, you're going to have the social media business site that you can enable, you're going to get unlimited picture storage, back office, helpline support, training, but the two most important things are that you get, number one, 100 points to start your business off right away, to be able to send cards and launch that business, and two, you're going to get 10 customer accounts, 10 accounts that you can give away to people to show them how valuable Send Out Cards is. These are trial accounts with 25 points and 2 stamps that just get people launched into what they need to do. Now let's say this is you, okay? You're ready to start this business. The first thing you need to do is take, of those 10 trial accounts, do any of you have at least 2 friends? Okay, because that's the hardest part of starting a business, okay, is finding 2 people who you can give 2 of those accounts away to. That's all you need to do. And when you give 2 of those accounts away in your first 7 days, you get $50 cash back right into your pocket. That's all you need to do to launch your business, give 2 of them away. Then, as you start to share this information, right, sharing how easy this is, just find 3 people who are interested in doing the same thing you're doing, And you're going to get compensated for bringing those people in. You get a customer acquisition bonus for doing that. When those 3 people join and give 2 of their accounts away, you're going to get paid $140 for each of those 3 people. Now, for those of you that are not quick as Casey is with numbers, okay, this totals $470. You just invested $395 into operating your own business, and you've just been fully compensated by getting those first 3 people in $470. You've just paid for your business. You're net zero into what goes into send out cards.
That's awesome.
Isn't
That's
it?
amazing.
That,
Much cheaper than McDonald's.
I'm not even sure if people understand the power of that. I mean, many of you have those fancy cups this morning that have white and green labels on them. You paid dear money for that Java, right? But to start a business like that, you're looking at a minimum $250,000 just franchise fee, and that doesn't even include facility, location, employees, or all the equipment you need to start that business. Okay? You're talking big, big money to start an opportunity where for $395, where you essentially get reimbursed all your out-of-pocket costs within the first, days, weeks, months of you starting is pretty incredible. Once you do this, you've given away 2 accounts, 2 of those trial accounts that you've gotten for free, and then have 3 people join in, you're going to promote to the next level, which is manager. Now, when you promote, of course, you can buy new clothes, you can dye your hair, you can change anything up you want, right? For those of you that recognize the lady from before. I'm just kidding. But all you need to do is rinse, repeat, right? It's the same process. Go out and get 3 people and do the same thing. When you do that, though, and when you get promoted, you're going to get an additional bonus. So now you're going to get paid $240 for every person that comes in. But folks, this next piece is where the magic happens in the business. Because it's not about you going out and getting distributors. It's about you getting people who can go out and do exactly what you did. If you can get those 3 people to go out and get a few more people, you get paid for every person that they bring into the business. So people that you brought into the business, go out and find other people, you're going to get paid $100 for every person that comes in on that downline. Every person who joins your organization with someone who you've brought in, you get paid $100. And folks, what's key is this gets paid to unlimited levels. Unlimited levels. That's significant because as your business grows, your paycheck grows. Okay? That's how we earn an income. That's how you make your business grow within send out cards. Now in send out cards, you can promote 5 times. You can go from manager to eagle. And at manager, you get paid $240 for every person that you bring in, all the way on up to $335. For every person that joins your organization under someone who you brought in, you're going to get paid from $100 to $195. And you're also going to get paid a commission on the total volume of cards and gifts that are ordered by individuals ranging from 5 to 25%. And those include your own personal orders. It's almost as if you get a discount back, if you will, for your own purchases. And did I say already that you get paid to unlimited levels? Because if I didn't, I want to make sure you all understand that, right? So let me show you a graphical example of what the financial possibilities are within send out cards. Let's say, for example, you go out and you get promoted to manager. You now have 3 people that join your organization, and those 3 people go out and get 3 people. And then those 3 people that have joined have each gone out to get 3 people. In the end, you would have about 2,700 people in your organization. Okay? Now this isn't a perfect world, right? This is perfect geometric pattern. It doesn't always happen this way, but it's just for graphical representation to get an understanding of the type of income potential you would get. With that many people, with your monthly residual, with them just being customers spending their preferred accounts, you would receive a monthly residual check of $27,448. That's in addition to the $327,900 you would earn in customer acquisition bonuses for people who come on board. Okay, so that's a one-time bonus that you get, the $327,000 and $27,000 a month. How many of you could live a decent life with $27,000 a month?
Ow!
I am totally in with that, right?
That's
I
a
am
lot of
good with
shoes.
that.
That would buy a lot of
That would buy a lot of donuts, and you could buy as much Starbucks as you wanted, absolutely. Now some of you may be thinking, okay, yeah, right, is this really real? Well, would it be fair if I were to ask you, what if you could just achieve 10% of this, right? I mean, how many of you would love to belong to a 10%er club at work? You just show up, you do 10% of the effort, and you got paid the same rate, right? I would. Well, even at 10% of the effort of this, right, 10% of that, that's still $2,700 a month. This is residual income, folks. Residual income means that the difficulty is either checking your email to make sure it got deposited or walking to your mailbox, right? That's the difficulty in residual income. This is not going out and doing more work, right? Because if you built your business, this is what comes in. Well, let me tell you, $2,700 a month for me would make the difference between maybe struggle and comfort. For some of you in the room, $2,700 would mean the difference between working and financial freedom. For some of you in the room, $2,700 would be significant, change my life, right, forever. So there's a full spectrum on what this achieves, but the amazing thing is, this is just with 10% of that. Imagine where you'd be. You know, there's probably two things you're all thinking right now. One is, can I do this? And two is, all right, so maybe you've got my hook, Dean, but what do I have to do? Right? Let me answer those. Can you do this? Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Look, I'm a government employee. If I can do it, you can do it, right? What would I have to do? Well, simple. All you need to do is use the tools that are available, right? We have events like this where people get together. You have speakers that come up. You don't even have to be the one doing the presentation. Let other people do that work for you. Let the Deans and Caseys of the world do those presentations and just invite people in. We've got tools that are available. We've got quick start guides. We've got videos that are available on the website. All you need to do is just show people videos. I had to go on a business trip this week to Washington, D.C. So I was on the cruise with Casey last weekend. I arrived back on Monday. Tuesday morning, I hopped on a plane. I went to D.C. Now, I had to be there because I serve on a national commission, so I was there with the Department of Justice doing some work. And you'd think like, wow, okay, I'm on a commission, here's all these people from all over the place, how in the world am I going to share send-out cards, right? Do you know that while I was in D.C., I had 3 business presentations while I was there? 3. Because one of them was a guy I sat next to on an airplane, and just talking to him, how do you strike up a conversation, right? What do you do, where are you going? You got to have the normal thing. And finally, I just turned to him and I said, his name's Justin. I said, hey, Justin, I said, have you ever thought about other business opportunities? Because he's a budding comic, you know, in the LA area. So I figured, okay, well, actor, right? Always looking for income. And sure enough, I asked him. So my hook was, I said, do you have a significant other at home? He goes, yeah, I do. I said, have you gotten Valentine's Day taken care of? He says, no, not yet. And I said, well, how about you send a greeting card on me? Wow, that would be cool. So he went to his Facebook page, pulled in some photos, uploaded some things, sent the card. And he said, this is really neat. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm looking for people just like you to help me build my business. Are you interested in listening? And he said, yeah. Well, it turns out we were staying at the same hotel. So I ended up having a full-blown business presentation with him. And we're going to be chatting again this weekend. I met up with another friend while I was there. Same concept. Well, all I'm saying is, it is easy to do. I'm letting the tools do the work for me. All I needed was 7 minutes to show them a couple of videos and then ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you kind of see yourself in being a part of this business? And I got it some information and then we can follow up. You have an incredible support team. Those of you that know Casey and his team, you know how much power and energy Casey brings to an environment. But look, in Southern California, we have so many people that are involved actively within send-out cards, whether it's up in the LA region with Casey, whether it's with me and teams that we have in Orange County or other areas, we're happy to help. Because the bottom line is, all tides, you know, float ships, right? So when we create that energy, when we create that incentive and that excitement about what we do in send-out cards, well, we all do better for it, right? We're willing to share that information. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Richard Branson, but Richard Branson is the name behind Virgin everything, right? I mean, you know, he was Virgin Airs, Virgin, you know, America, you name it, anything Virgin something, that's him, right? But his quote is pretty powerful, right? He is the penultimate entrepreneur when you look at his ability to see things in business. And his quote is, if someone shows you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure if you can do it, say yes. Then learn how to do it later. That's pretty powerful. Send-out Cards is poised to be $1 billion company. Okay? The BDAB means $1 billion and beyond, baby, right? That's kind of the theme of the company right now. But let me tell you why that's so. We are poised for massive growth. Sendout Cards is the third largest greeting card company in the world. Sendout Cards is the #1 consumer of the United States Postal Service for first-class mail. Sendout Cards is a debt-free company, pays cash for all of its new equipment and physical plant expansion. This is not a fly-by-night company, but it's one that perhaps some of you may never have even heard of. There's power in that, folks, if you understand the business model. Huge, huge power. And we're in 8 countries currently. We're expanding internationally. I mentioned I'm Greek. I got a team in Greece that's just waiting for the green light to flick the switch. Thumbs up, we're ready to go. We just need things to happen. Millions and millions of people are experiencing, and millions will be experiencing Sendout Cards in the near future. And folks, there is big, big opportunity in this. We want you to be a part of it, but whether you're there or not, it's going to happen. We'd just like you to consider being a part of that process, right? Sendout Cards is changing the lives of thousands of people all over the world. It's changed mine. I already told you for Carolyn and I how much of a difference that's made. She's closed one business. She's essentially deactivated another one. We have a residual income now that we see on a very regular basis. We've been involved in Sendout Cards for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in March. But to be able to get several $100s per month on residual income on a reliable basis is pretty cool. To see checks every once in a while that creep into the 4-digit amount are pretty cool. Okay? Now, I'm not suggesting that that's enough for us to retire, and it's not. But you know what? We're only 2 years into this. Let me give you another perspective on thinking about how this works. My wife comes from the financial world. Any of you get a pension at work? How many years do you have to work for that pension? You're all laughing. Is it long? I don't know. I work for government. So is it long? Is it short? Yeah. 40 years, right? My wife worked in the banking industry. She left the bank as a vice president. She was a VP of a bank in Southern California. She worked for the bank for 17 years. I'll tell you that right now, her pension check, right, her retirement that she'll get from the company for 17 years, some of which at senior management, of course it was all bonbons, right? When you go to work when you're in senior management, those of you that you know, right? It's just easy work. No, it's not easy work, right? You deal with all the headaches. 17 years, she's going to get about $612. Folks, we've been in Sendout Cards for a little about over than 2.5 years. And in 2.5 years, she has matched her pension of 17 years. Does that resonate with people now? I mean, do you see the power in these numbers? So when I'm talking about amounts of $500 or $600 a month in absolute residual income, I'm not talking about something that's just, oh yeah, but I need more than that to live. I mean, that's the difference between 17 years of dedicated employment and not. And you've done that in just a short period of time. Imagine what will happen over the next couple of years. That's the power of residual income. That's the power of entrepreneurship. And that's the power of being able to own your own destiny and choosing how that course of action happens. That's the opportunity that Cody is giving us when he says, we get to get paid for being nice to people. Well, for those of you that are guests here, you know that you're probably interested in one of two things. You're either interested in doing what I just did, right? I joined, we're part of the business, and we're getting paid for being nice. Or you're just saying, you know what? I want to be like Dean was at the beginning. I just want a great system that I can use and be able to use this as a customer. Well, in just a few minutes, you're going to have an opportunity to get back with the person that you came with, and we'll be able to answer any questions you have. But think about what area you want to be. Think about what is going to make a difference for you in your life. Being a customer or being part of the revolution that Sendout Cards offers. And it's my hope and goal that at some point we can say welcome to you to the Sendout Cards family. So thank you very much.
Awesome. And your picture's going viral on Facebook as we speak. Picture's going viral on Facebook. And I think it's funny that somebody literally commented, I want to see a picture of your shoes on my picture of you. So I want to call it just a couple of people to give you guys kind of a different perspective, 3 different perspectives on how these folks use Sendout Cards. I didn't prompt them, although they know what they're going to talk about. So I want to just introduce you to three folks, give you just a kind of a 1-minute testimonial about their business in Sendout Cards, and then we'll take a quick break. So Maurice, can you grab a stick and see? Let's go with Shar first, please.
Stick.
Sorry.
How about a handheld?
Sorry, I come from the speaker world. I'm usually talking to production guys, so a stick in language for speakers is just a handheld microphone. Okay. When you talk in the handheld microphone,
it's like this.
Demonstrate, yes. The microphone doesn't work if it's sitting out like this and you're scared.
Or you go like this. And you know what I want to tell you? I had a great time talking to people and.
This is okay. I've got the stick. I just want to tell you real quick. I joined Send Out Cards in 2008 and did absolutely nothing with it.
Yes.
I worked it for 6 months, and I wasn't making any money. I was like, "Where's the millions that is supposed to just come in?" So I just used it as a customer. Didn't do anything with it. Last March, my dad died, and I was really pissed off that my family leave ended as soon as he died, and I had to go back to work. And I said, there's got to be something better. And I re-looked into Send Out Cards, watched every single video I could, joined every group I could, and decided this is my year. I've been with Fox for 23 years, and I'm tired of working for a living. So I want a house in the Bahamas. I read the book, The 4-Year Career, found out it does take more than 6 months to build a business. So I'm willing to give it that time, and I'm actually getting mentored by Damar now, so I'm very happy about that, and I'm willing to work my butt off and do this within a year.
Awesome.
And make a great living.
Awesome.
And
Thanks,
anyone
Shar.
can do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Shar. For those of you right now that are wearing blue name tags, I'm sure the word in that vocabulary and that testimonial, you're like, what the hell's a Damar? Damar Zimmerman is one of our Eagle ranked distributors in Send Out Cards. He's currently #2 on the income list, and he's an amazing guy out of Utah as well. So
I couldn't get #1.
I know, right? So just I'll do my best to help navigate any lingo that we're able to use. So next up is a good friend of mine. He is very familiar with Send Out Cards. In fact, he's so familiar with Send Out Cards, he's been around with Send Out Cards for quite a while. He happens to also be the guy that travels with me a lot when I go out on the road and speak at events all over the world. He does my PowerPoints, he does the forms that we're going to use today. He has an amazing arsenal of marketing tools to help business owners stay in front of and connected to their clients and prospects. And I want Bruce to come up and give a testimonial because what he's been able to do is work with another restaurant, another small business, and I've asked him to kind of share his experience of how he's using Send Out Cards to leverage his business for another business owner. So with that, here's Bruce Waterman from Exposure Biz.
Thanks, Tracy. I love Send Out Cards, and I love showing this to business owners because I call it an appreciation marketing system. It keeps you in front of your clients and customers on a consistent, automated basis. You know, for every 30 days that you don't keep in touch with your customers, you lose 10% of your influence. So Send Out Cards helps you keep in front of your customers at all times so that they don't go away and go somewhere else who might show up at their front door. So I have a client that I've worked with for a long time. I did all kinds of work for them. I redesigned their menus, I did video work for them, I did all kinds of graphic design. So what I did, I set up a marketing program for them called, and it's a little neighborhood restaurant on Vineland and Victoria Boulevard called Vivian's Millennium Cafe. If you've ever been there, if you haven't, you should go, it's awesome. So I created a Vivian's Millennium Cafe VIP Diners Club. And I created these forms so that when the diners come in, they fill in this form to belong to the club. And it says on here, receive updates and exclusive specials.
I gotta say, if you hear in his voice.
From Vivian's Millennium Cafe. Members will receive a special gift on their birthday. They can either fill the form in physically with a pen and paper like this, or they can scan the QR code on their mobile device and fill the form in that way. This data goes into the Send Out Cards customer database, and we have set up a 5-card campaign. And a campaign means that you set up a series of cards that get sent out automatically over time. So I designed and created this campaign for this restaurant. And the first one immediately goes out upon putting the information into the database. We press a button and automatically those 5 cards get sent out automatically to those people 5 times over the course of the year. The restaurant doesn't think about it, doesn't have to worry about it. It's all automated because it goes out automatically, 1 card every quarter, and each card they get has an incentive and a personal message of appreciation for that customer, and they have to bring this card back into the restaurant to redeem their special incentive. So it keeps the customers coming back on a regular basis. On top of that, they get because we put in their birth dates into the database, the system knows when their birthday rolls around to send out their special Vivian's birthday card. And again, they get a special birthday message with another special message for their birthday. So Vivian's love this. They send out anywhere between 300 and 400 cards a month to keep in touch with their customers. They love it because it keeps them coming back, and the customers have become raving fans of this restaurant. So this is a great system for any business to use, and I highly recommend you share it with everybody you know. Thank you.
This is nerding out over here for me. Nerding out. I'm posting on Facebook. Awesome job, Bruce. Can you guys see how different people use send out cards for different reasons in different ways? Well, I want to bring up somebody now who I have been friends with since forever and a day ago. And she came all the way down from Reno, Nevada to be with us. And I kind of wanted to ask her to get up and just share her story for just a minute or two. Because I think for some of you, how many of you have been in and around send out cards for a little while and really haven't done a whole lot with it? Right? And for whatever reason that is, where you are in that business and that process is okay. Our job today is to help get you motivated to take it to the next level and get you in action. And we're going to do that this afternoon. But I wanted to bring up a good friend of mine and have her share her experience with send out cards from a point of view of somebody that's been with send out cards for a while and didn't really know how to present, didn't really know a whole lot about the business, and now that's a different story. So with that, you guys, Cindy, come on up.
Thank you, Casey.
You got it.
Okay, so this is totally out of my element. I will tell all of you right now, I'm not really comfortable doing this. So I got that out of the way so you'll understand my fidgeting. I met Casey back in 2011. And I met Casey at a really low point in my life. Came in to send out cards. A month later, my mom passed away. Dropped send out cards, didn't do anything with it. What I did do, though, is I knew the system was amazing, and I did make a Christmas card. And actually, I just saw it up here, so it's one of the Christmas cards I made, but I've made a few. And this is me. I feel very special right now. But I didn't do anything with it. Last December, I just happened to open my mouth at a family dinner, and someone was telling me they needed to send a card, and I said, hey, I can help you do that. The person's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, here. Take this and go send a card for me. So she did, and she signed up as a marketing distributor. She's an insurance agent, and she's using it in her business. Next thing you know, I got a check. Okay, that was kind of cool. So then, a little while later, I met another person a couple weeks ago, and she signed up. Didn't know anybody, didn't know what I was doing, just opened my mouth. People out there need solutions to help them keep in contact with their customers. They want it, they're asking for it. If you have the business and you're not using it, just start talking to people. It's just amazing what you can do. At a dinner conversation, at a table, just opening your mouth, offering to let someone send a card if you have your business. It costs us pennies to do it. And hand them your phone and let them do it. Give it a try. I am one away from making manager. The plan is next month to be manager. and then keep doing, and I'm gonna do the rinse and repeat and keep going forward. It's not a matter of trying to do it, I am going to do it. That's one of our biggest statements, being an I am person. It's taken me this long to embrace it, but if I can embrace it, everybody in this room can embrace it and just run forward. One of the things I have to tell you about Casey is, Casey told me from day one, I was a little Casey groupie before I actually joined. It's hard not to be a Casey groupie, but he told me.
I need my mom to get that card.
He told me that if I want to walk in this business, I can walk. If I want to jog in this business, I can jog. If I want to run, I can run. And he will be there for me no matter what, side by side. And I can tell you honestly, he has done that for me. When I signed up my very first MD, I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't paid attention to the compensation plans, didn't know nothing. The person's firing these questions at me. I'm like, you know what, you're way above and beyond my level right now. I am not even comprehending that, but I know somebody that does. I got texted Casey, it blew up his phone. I blew it up. He had no option but to call me back.
Is true.
8 o'clock at night, I got him on the phone, got the other person on the phone. Let them have their conversation. Do the 3-way calls. Don't be afraid. If for some reason you can't get Casey, if he's your direct upline on the phone, call somebody else. They will help you. And here's the key thing, and it's really hard for me because I want to like jump sometimes and jump in. When you do the 3-way call with your upline, just listen. Don't say anything. Just let them do all the talking. And let him work for you. Casey told me he's working for us. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Great job. Okay, I want to, for you guests, before we break for lunch, let me take out these gorgeous plastic styrofoam. I'm a big details person, and the look on my face when I realized that I was going to have to put these raffle tickets in a styrofoam container was not pretty. So, for you guests, I just want to make sure that some of you walk away with a couple of prizes. So, I'm going to pick a couple of numbers here. So the first prize I'm going to give you is Justin Mendez's book, The Relationship You. It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm already about halfway through it. Justin and I just met, and I got to tell you, it's our hope and goal, because this is such an alignment with who we are in Send Out Cards, that if we get enough buzz going, our hope is that we can kind of poke and prod up at there and get this in the gifting section of Send Out Cards. So that would be really cool. So if you have the last 3 digits of your green ticket, 935. Oh. Woo! Hey! Excellent. There we go. And you know, we are. You know what? You guys, is it cool with you if we take the guest tickets and put them back with all the distributor tickets so they can participate with all of it?
Absolutely.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay, next up, I'm going to give you a copy of Networking Times. Networking Times, let me just give you kind of a 2-second pitch for Networking Times. Anybody a subscriber for Networking Times in here? Yes. Couple of it? Networking Times is the only network marketing generic magazine that talks about network marketing from the profession side of it and profession point of view. It has tons of highlights of people in it that are in part of the profession. And I got to tell you, Chris and Josephine, they're friends of mine. I will end up having them come down and speak with us eventually. They are unbelievable people. It's actually really interesting. When I first got started in this wacky game, one of the things that I said one of my goals was to someday make it in one of the issues of Networking Times. And last October, a year and a half ago, Chris and Josephine actually graced putting me on the cover of Networking Times one year. So that was kind of cool. It was just my name, but it says article written by Casey Eberhard on the front, so I consider that on the cover, right?
Made it to the cover.
So, this is just an issue. This is with a good friend of mine, Eric Worre. Eric is one of the world's most leading speakers and trainers in the topic of network marketing and really building relationships and building businesses. And whoever has 932 gets to take this issue home. Is that And then, one of the things I know about business is that business is really all about communication. And it's really about presenting, whether you're presenting an opportunity, whether you're presenting a sales sheet, whether you're presenting a contract, whatever. Life and business is really about communication. Can we agree?
Yes.
Yes.
It's really about doing a better job presenting, right? And whether that's sales or non-sales, or what you believe are non-sales, it's always good to be able to key in and dial in and enhance your presentation skills. And so Maurice Domino wrote a book called The Art of Public Speaking, How to Kill from the Stage, because he was
It's family.
It's family, right?
Mamma mia.
And so this book, even if you do not have a desire to speak publicly from the front of the room on a stage, it's still an amazing book in terms of teaching communication skills and presentation skills. And since we're in the presentation business, fantastic book. So whoever has 939 is going to walk home. Sorry, awesome. So, you know what? Let's do two more. I'm going to do one more of each book. How's that? So 925. Who has 925? Awesome. Carolyn, I'm going to give you the option. Which one would you prefer? Oh, very good. He really is attractive, though, isn't he? Awesome. What number did you have, Kim? 25. Okay, so whoever has 926 is getting to take Maurice home with them.
Yeah.
Maurice was feeling a little now he and Justin can be friends. He and Justin can be friends. Awesome. Awesome, you guys. So, look, I hope that with Dean's presentation and a couple of the stories, you got some questions answered. One of the things we'd love to do is we'd love to invite you to become part of our Send Out Cards family. This is a no-pressure deal. However, Visa, MasterCard, America.
Here's 16 digits.
Yeah, 16 digits and an expiration date, please. No, we're going to take a short break so you can get back with the person. If the person that brought you here is here, fantastic. We want to be able to get all of those questions and answers in the hands for you to help make a decision. If you're ready to go, if you're ready to sign up, Amy over here has sign-up sheets. It's just a paper application. You can actually fill that out with the person that brought you here, and we can either help put that in the system, or we'll give that sheet back to the person that brought you, and they'll help you get started. So it's my sincere hope that each and every one of you will join us on the Send Out Cards journey. I got to tell you, it's a super fun ride. We're a crazy group of entrepreneurs. We will be having meetings here until we break this thing apart, and then we'll move into a hotel. So with that, we'd love to have you be either a customer of ours with Send Out Cards, or the Smarter package is a marketing distributor package. And if you want to stick around until after the break, I'm going to actually walk through bits and pieces of the compensation plan and show you kind of how to make some money with this thing. So with that, you guys, we'll take a quick short break. If you got a peek, go downstairs and peek. If you're wearing a blue name tag and you want to reach out to somebody in a red name tag, we'll get all those questions answered for you. We'll see you guys in a minute.